Ron van Overbeke with Future Care Design. It's very early in the morning, but I thought I'd make this video anyway. I'm just about to leave for a permaculture course in Tinos to teach and to support. And yeah, I'd like to take you through our permaculture design, the one that we designed and are now implementing. So when we just started out making this design, we defined 4 basic functions of our permaculture design. And this helps us make design decisions along the way. So our 4 functions are strategic food resilience, which basically means that we both try to grow food and fruit and everything ourselves, many things ourselves, but when we cannot, or when we are not able to find, or when we find it easier to work with other people, we try to go for people that are using regenerative practices, or that are somehow like treating their animals well, or anything that we might choose to do. But also we are hoping to build relationships with people that have things that might help us become food resilient. So for instance, we have a coffee house nearby, and they are willing to give us their coffee grinds after they're done. And it's a lot of people drinking coffee during the day, so that's a lot of coffee grinds if we want. Entering our food system. So strategic food resilience. And then the next one is water abundance, which in our dry climate of 420, 430 millimeters per year, it's a bit, maybe not, I don't want to say ridiculous, but it's a bit strange to say water abundance. But I do believe that with the amount of road runoff that we are getting, and with different systems that we have in place, we could say that in the future this will be a place of water abundance. And then the third one is a biodiversity hub. So basically we are going to try and use practices that help nature to thrive, like it does in any place. We don't want to hinder nature to thrive, basically. But at the same time, we're going to also consciously try and increase the amount of biodiversity that is here. So the amount of different plant species, animal species, fungi species, as much as we can, we try to bring in diversity of things, crops also, into this landscape. So also, heritage breeds of chickens, or heritage apples, or whatever we can find. And so we have like hundreds of different species living here, making their life and continuing on with existence. And then the fourth one is regenerative cultures and livelihoods. So we added those S's to encompassate a few things. Basically, we want to help our cultures become regenerative, both by leading by example, by doing regenerative things ourselves, but also through teaching courses, or possibly having people over and exchanging minds about that stuff. And then also regenerative livelihoods. So we would like to support ourselves in regenerative ways. Money is still a thing, of course, but we're hoping to do it in a way that is regenerative for the planet. And also we'd like to have work come out of this place, or plants or things come out of this place that can be sold to other people, and still fit within the regenerative framework. So we're thinking about a tree nursery and things like that. All right, so that's our four functions. It's still quite early, and the sun is rising, so that's nice. I'm just going to turn the camera around and take you through the whole design. All right, let's see if I keep my mind focused enough to say everything that I want to say, because there's a lot. But yeah, let's go. You're hearing all the morning noises, the dogs and chickens and a helicopter apparently. But yeah, so we live on concrete or asphalt road. This is downhill and this is uphill. And over here we are able to take in quite a lot of water. Like when it's raining a lot, it looks like a river basically. And it enters over here. And this, I don't know if it's very visible, but this is a little basin, this is a little berm, and that allows the water to drop its sediment as it stops and settles a little bit into the larger body of water. The water is slowed down and any sediment falls out. There was a jay just passing by. I don't know if you could see it, but it was alarming at me before. Like, hey, what are you doing up so early? Anyways, so yeah, from here the water will overflow, go this way. It's not fully realized yet, but we're working on it. So this is a little waterway to guide the water towards the swale system in the back. We're gonna have 2 or 3 bridges, which is gonna be really nice aesthetically. Yeah, so we're following natural patterns that help the water to slow down. So a straight run from where it comes in to where it needs to be is 10 meters. So in the back there where the pallet is lying, it's 24 meters where it needs to be. And just by adding this extra loop-de-loop, it's now 24 meters. So basically added another 14 meters. Yeah, that's really great because the water slows down. You can already see it. Over here there's gravel, as you can see. So basically the water that I was using flowed so quickly that any fine sediment was taken out. And over here, as it slowed down, you can see that the sediment was being deposited. Yeah, so let's go over the bridge and go to the next part. Sun is rising just now. When it's raining a lot, water also comes from this land up there, which is basically herb growing, but it's packed and there's plastic on there. So basically all of this land captures rainwater and sheds it this way if the rain is heavy enough. So let me turn around for a moment. So what we have here, the water enters from where I'm standing and from this area over here. It'll enter a little bit of a catchment basin again dropping any sediment and then overflowing this way. So this is what we call the banana swale. There's a berm over here and then a berm all the way around the back. And we're going to plant that with bananas. If we do end up having a greenhouse, we might might be able to grow papayas as well somewhere in there. I'm really hoping that this helicopter doesn't come too close. Anyways, so yeah, the idea is that this will capture rainwater, of course, and it will fill up slowly. And then from there, this point, it will overflow to the next part. And also, as you can see, there's this black tube that's part of our old irrigation system. We'll be replacing the irrigation system, and this will be dug down, or more of it will be dug down into this mulch basin, the swale basin, and the pipe will be used to distribute grey water. We'll drill some holes into it, and any water from the houses, like the shower, the sink, the dish, the washing machine, etc., will be able to go in here. The kitchen not so much because it has oils treated in a different way. So yeah, basically that will give the bananas that are very water hungry, it will give them a nice amount of moisture to use as they are growing. Yeah. Yes, this is also the most wind shaded area. So basically we have strong northeastern winds and the house is above us. So basically this shields, together with these lemon trees that are on the left. Over here there's a lemon and over there there's a lemon. Those lemon trees shield this area from the most cold winter wind. So we're hoping that the bananas like that. So this area was a bit of a struggle to find out what we wanted to do with it. We're hoping to put a seating area somewhere in here, and also this will become hopefully a future tree nursery because it's quite shaded. We don't really have too much to do with it, and we want it to be fully irrigated so that any chance of fire is extinguished, as we say. So something will happen in the front, maybe a little zone 2 garden for corn or whatever you like. We'll see about that. Well, rotating crop most likely if we do it. But yeah, we do need some zone 2 garden. This helicopter is getting really close. Alright, let's do this part first. So as you can see over here, there is this tube, and it goes down about 1.80 meters, and then travels this way towards that black tube that you might be able to see in the back there, and then it makes a U-turn and it comes back. And as it comes back, it enters this white tube that you see, and it enters the house. So basically what we can do in the summer is open this up, warm air will be drawn inside, travels that way 20 meters, comes back 20 meters, and then enters the house. And this will allow us to cool our house passively in the summer. We just open a big window in the top of our house, and it will draw air in, cool it down underneath the ground, and bring it into the house. So then we're moving on to the swill system. So yeah, as I showed before, sorry for all the mess, it's been a busy time. So the water will travel along here. We'll first fill up this swill, and then that one. And yeah, what is a swill? Fuck off. I really don't like this noises in the morning. I really hoped for a quiet morning. Anyways, this is a swill, and basically what it is, it's a ditch on contour. So it's a trench or a excavation that is lower than the landscape, and this point over here, the overflow point, let's call it, or the original height over here, follows that line all the way along, the same height, towards all the way in the back. So 100 meters or more, this swill sits exactly level. So it's basically like a bathtub, very long, snaky kind of bathtub. So we have a berm on the bottom side that keeps the water inside. So this will function in a few ways. First of all, it will, when it's full, it hasn't fully filled up because we had a very dry winter. But when it's full, it will have 50,000 liters of water inside, and that will infiltrate into the ground, which will help us to irrigate from our bore well that we have in the back. So it will do that. It will help compost these wood chips, which it's already doing. And it will function most of the time as an access path all the way to the back. The berm of it and the back of the land over there will be planted with a food forest. So what is a food forest? A food forest is basically like a fruit orchard, as most people would know it, but it functions like a forest. So basically all the things that make a forest work, you know, like a nice layer of soil on the bottom with mulch and things, all the fungi and life and different kinds of support species all exist within this landscape, will exist within this landscape. And all of this area over here, all of the swill mounds over here, we've got a fig already planted, you can see the green. They all work together to help us have some nice fruit and other food. I see the sun is rising. Where should I continue? I really hope that this helicopter doesn't pick up too much on my microphone. So yeah, what do we have here? What do we have here? So this will be the duck and chicken house. This will hold water basically until there, like 5-10 centimeters from the edge, and ducks will be able to swim in it. And then there's going to be a triangle chicken yard, kind of like that, and that will be their everyday yard. They can go there whenever they want. Food will be distributed over there, and there will be some walls on top of this, of course with access into the water from there. They'll be able to get in, but there will be some walls on top of there. Chickens and ducks will be able to walk a little ramp and enter, and this keeps them very safe. We have foxes, martyrs, all different kinds of animals that want to eat what animals we have here. So yeah, we're going to try and make a little nice house that sits about 90 centimeters above the ground, and then of course there's going to be some area above that with a roof, and that will allow us easy access from this side to gather eggs. We can have easy access from that side to take out any material, that bedding material, and the chickens will be sitting above the water with their roosts and drop their poo right into the water, which we can then use as fertigation, Fertigation, fertigation to send to the fruit trees or the food forest or the olive grove, whatever we feel like, or the veggie garden, the composting area. That's also possible. So yeah, that's what the next step is. We have designed in a specific area for making compost. This is inspired both by Jeff Lawton's chickens. What was it called? Chicken tractor on steroids, and I always forget his name. It'll come to me in a moment. Sean Dabrowski, like the Polish name, I think. It's kind of difficult for me to remember. So yeah, basically this area is angled so that a truck or a trailer can back up onto it. We can unload any material into here. This mound was created because we had to get rid of, or we had to bury and keep some tree trunks, and we put them in there. So it's basically like a hugelculture. And these rocks and everything will be removed, and there will be a nice smooth area. Chickens will be able to go in there. We make a compost pile at the very beginning. They scratch it apart, and then basically the compost pile gets moved on one spot. We make it again over here. They scratch it apart again. We move it again, and every time that we move one, we can make a new one behind it. So we basically have got a train of compost piles being made and scratched apart. Once it's here, it should be nice and good compost. We move it onto there. We can either sift it for using in nursery crops or anything like that, or we're going to have a drawbridge, either this way or that way, and that way we can move the material into the chicken yard, onto the swale mound, into a wheelbarrow, or into the veggie garden that I'll show you next. And I want to say that our daughter is 4 years old now, and she's constantly being inspired, and like has cool things, very unique things to think about, to come up with. So I'm inspired by her to create cool things like that, because it's it's exciting for children, and I'm a little bit of a child myself, of course. Yeah, so basically we'll have trees along each side as well, so that it will be nice and shaded. And they will be able to take the nutrients that are being released from the trunks that are rotting down underneath. So, all good things. So, what's going on with these helicopters? I hope there's no fire. God damn it, that would be early. Anyways, so yeah, the veggie garden. 3 beds we're going to have. They're going to be surrounded by chicken fence. And the idea is that we can open these yards, veggie beds, at 3 points within the chicken yard, and they will be able to enter them. So usually there will be 2 beds that are in production, and 1 bed that will be for the chickens and ducks. They can scratch around, do whatever they like. And then once one of the beds comes out of production, we can send the chickens in there, close this one, let it rest for a bit, because chicken manure is quite sharp, and then plant it out with new veggies. The chickens take care of all the weeds, all of the persistent weeds that any gardener knows are horrible. They take them at least out for the season. They don't completely take them out unless you leave the chickens on there. But they work really, really well removing any of the weeds. You don't have any problems with them for a season. So yeah, that is the chicken yard. The chicken yard, the veggie patch. So that's our chicken door. No, our kitchen door. And it's very close to the veggie garden. So basically, if we want to give them some veggie scraps, we can just chuck it over the fence. That's the idea, anyway. Then what else? Yes, let's go a little bit back to the swale. So as you can see over here, there's no mound. So over there's a mound, over here there's a mound, but in this area there's none. So as you can imagine, the water will sit like that, and once it reaches a point, what is the highest point that it can reach, it will slowly start overflowing this way and start feeding the food forest that sits behind here. Then there's going to be a row of willows and vetiver next to the fence line to protect us from fire from this abandoned area behind. And then it will start feeding the area behind with water. Hopefully it will never get that far, but of course that's climate change. We don't know what's going to happen, how much water we're going to get. If we want, we can close the intake, so no more extra water enters. So yeah, this little upside down tree, which looks like a creature, it's going to be a playhouse for our daughter. We talked about it last night even, what kind of materials she would like to use in making it, and we're going to have a little tunnel bed thing in there, and it's going to be really cool with windows and bottles and cob and straw. We don't know exactly how we're going to build it yet, but what I wanted to say about this is that there's different ways that you can use wood trees that need to be cut down. In this case, we needed to cut down about 19 or 20 of these pistachio trees because they haven't produced, and basically we need to use insecticides to get a crop out of them. They've been planted in a monoculture. Everything you see here on our aunt's land, it's still in monoculture. So yeah, we decided to take these out and give them a better use. So they're being composted, they're being wood chipped, they're being made into bowls and spoons and things, and we're going to make a playhouse out of them. So yeah, the first thought that most people have is when you chop something down, it becomes firewood. It doesn't have to be like that. Yeah, what did I want to say more? Yes. So yeah, I have this cool idea for the duck house, and it's of course to protect the animals. So protective, and I want to get a cool name for it. So the first thought that came to mind was Fort Ducks, but I'm open to any suggestions in the comments or whatever you like. Send it to me as a private message. So the last thing I wanted to end on before I go to the ferry is over here is a nice area. Basically all of the swale is filled with wood chips, but over here I know that there's some that hasn't dried out. So what is really astounding to me is how much water is being held in here. So if you look over here, I moved the mulch aside a bit, and I haven't watered this since the last rain, so the swale filled up quite a bit, and but this is not a shady area, and still it's moist, it's already decomposing, and you can see sometimes there's some mycelia starting to take over. And this is really, it's 3 months since the last rain. It's been here a long time, and it hasn't dried out yet. So yeah, that's proof that this kind of stuff works. Like all of the rest of this swale, it's completely dry, or mostly dry. There's a few plants that are still holding on, annuals that are still holding on. We've got a few trees planted here, but yeah. So that's the introduction to our system. I think I covered everything. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments or whatever you like. Yeah, if you haven't already, want to see more of this kind of stuff, like as we build, we'll do the veggie garden, we'll do the chicken and duck house, we'll do all of the compost system. So if you want to see that kind of stuff, please subscribe to my channel, hit that like button and send a comment. It all helps with the YouTube algorithm. I'm gonna go now because I'm gonna go to the ferry soon. All right, ciao ciao.